So let's talk about the politicizing of this. We touched upon that. But obviously, the Department of Justice is not politically trying to help Joe Biden and Democrats because, if anything, like you said, Donald Trump's fundraising off it, and polls are showing, it's kind of sadly reincarnated his popularity within the GOP.
It's so true, Leslie, and I feel badly for Joe Biden because he managed to pass his IRA, the Inflation Reduction Act, on Saturday, I think, and then by Monday, when he wanted to take the victory lap and he had all this travel planned, which he's gone ahead and done, and he fell out of the headlines because Donald Trump sucks all the oxygen out of the room, and a legal search warrant is served, and my house has been raided and they broke into my safe, and they did none of the above. I'm gonna release the videos, and we're going to show the world all the FBI agents that were telling our fans to kill. Well, the only thing it killed was Joe Biden's momentum. The concept, the idea that he would have wanted it to go this way is absurd. The guy deserved, to me, after 2 years of trying to get this legislation passed, he deserved a victory lap. And the American people, a phrase that I hate to use because whenever I hear Mitch McConnell use it, I think to myself, oh my God, you mean rich white men over 65. Anyway, the fact that Donald Trump's legally served search warrant usurps every bit of momentum that Joe Biden might have had, it doesn't just rob Joe Biden, Leslie, it robs us, the citizens of this country, who don't stay as closely informed as perhaps you and I do and your audience. Kudos to all of you folks, by the way. But the vast majority of Americans have no idea what's in that legislation. And the only thing they know is that Donald Trump's compound was raided. Now, the good news is that 58% of Americans, according to an NBC poll yesterday, believe that the Justice Department and the Select Investigative Committee of the U.S. Congress should continue looking into this matter and the January 6th matter, no matter what.
Oh, I agree 100%. In your blog, you talk about your grandmother. Can you tell that story? And the reason I want you to tell that story is I was going to ask you, because of that portion of your blog, and maybe because I'm half Jewish, I don't know, but why people are giving a grifter who they perceive as being uber rich money at all. But I think your grandmother's story speaks to that.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity to tell the story. So my grandmother was one of the only members of her family to escape Europe and the Holocaust. And she came to the United States at about 15 years of age, did not speak English. Over time, she spoke English, Russian, Polish, German, and Yiddish/Hebrew.
Where did she come from? Which country, John?
She came from Poland. And I said to her, Ma, why do you speak so many languages? And she said, well, you never knew who was going to be at the door. Meaning, was it going to be the Russians or the Germans or the Polish army? You never knew. Anyway, so she gets to the United States, and so learns to speak English, but is never a terribly sophisticated person, having been born, in a country with no indoor plumbing. You think about the range of her life all the way through putting a man on the moon. But to your point, she used to sit at night and watch the televangelists on television. And she would write checks and give them money. And I would say to her, Ma, why in the world are you writing checks to these men? And to Tammy Faye Baker, so men and women. And she'd say, because they have faith, because their faith is so obvious. And I'd say, but Ma, you're Jewish. And she'd say, matters not, doesn't make any difference to me. I see their hearts, I see their faith, and I want to contribute, and I want to help. there was no talking her out of supporting those grifters. And I found that to be really informative when it comes to Donald Trump and his tribe. And trust me, it is tribal. And when he says, I need money to fight this battle, it's a witch hunt, they don't see a grifter. They see an average, ordinary billionaire begging for money, and they can't wait to write a check.
But it becomes very dangerous too, right? Because with televangelists, you're writing check to help their lavish lifestyle. And whether you're Christian, Jewish, whatever you think that you're buying, many think people think they're buying their way to heaven, right? Send me $20, or if I send them money, I'll get money. I mean, it's crazy. But what's crazier is it can become dangerous. We've seen what happened with Governor Whitmer in Michigan. We saw what happened on January 6th. We see people who are being put in power. God forbid Herschel Walker, but Marjorie Taylor Greene. I think Marjorie Taylor Greene's a dangerous woman. I think that her words are very dangerous. She's demanding we defund the FBI. These are people that are writing checks to people like Marjorie Taylor Greene that are going rah-rah to somebody who with a bomb wants to kidnap the governor of a state and overthrow the government of not only the state of Michigan, but on January 6th, the government of the United States.
Right.
So speak to that. How dangerous is this? I mean, I don't think we will be defunding the FBI, but how dangerous is this?
Of course not. And I think that if you flip the script a little bit, you will see that Marjorie Taylor Greene and her cohorts, whether it's Matt Gaetz in Florida or Representative Boebert out in Colorado, these aren't really legislators, Leslie. These are performance artists.
Yeah.
They've decided that their stage will be the United States Capitol, and they've decided that their rhetoric is appropriate to them for fundraising. It's hard for me to estimate whether or not they believe the things that they say. I have to doubt it because some of it is so nonsensical. But by the same token, they rally the uninformed and the underinformed. They give them bumper sticker slogans. And before you know it, you have the same people who were decrying ultra left people saying defund the police, and now they're saying defund the police with a straight face and fundraising on top of it. That should tell you that these are very dangerous people.
You wrote, so a slippery guy, I love this paragraph. So a slippery guy blows up every norm of public life and trust, complaining all the while about his victimhood, constantly airing his grievances and driving through every guardrail our institutions and decency have had in place for centuries. And it's shocking when the Teflon wears off and he's held to account. Did Donald Trump create this, or did he just water a garden that was already seeded with this division, this hate, and this lunacy?
Well, he just watered an existing garden. But the interesting thing is, he had no idea because he's incurious. He's not a student of history. He really knows nothing. But if you know something, you know that this division between rural and urban, educated and uneducated, goes back to the founding of our country. Every few decades, it rears its ugly head. And, we've seen this most recently with the John Birch Society in the 1960s. These are all the same people, and these are all the same arguments. Donald Trump happened to tap into this vein, probably with the help of guys like the Steves, Stephen Miller and the guy with the who needs to wash his hair, Steve Bannon. So yes, it's a garden that we have to weed constantly, and generally we've been safe from it. But we've never had an imbalance and a fragmentation in the media the way we have it today. And that's why when he watered it, all of a sudden it was like you put Miracle-Gro on it.